Welcome to the Elevate podcast, brought to you by the Registered Master Builders. Each week we explore the ideas and practices that help us get the best from our businesses, our teams and ourselves. I'm your host, Ryan Castle. We talk to experts, advocates and business owners in the construction industry to share their knowledge, insights and experiences to help you build a better business and enjoy a better life. Now let the business building begin. Today on the Elevate Master Builders podcast, I'm joined by Wayne Zheng of Chancellor Construction. Wayne, welcome along to the podcast.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having us.
Hey, look, excited to learn a bit about your journey. I guess you would say, are you a double citizen? So raised in China, but now do you call yourself a Kiwi?
Absolutely. I've been in the country for 22 years now, so long time. Okay. I came here when I was 18 and I've just turned 40.
Just a young fella.
I wish.
So I understand you have a bit of a background in finance. So tell us, how did you journey from a career in finance to wanting to own your own construction company?
Yes, that's great. Well, I started my banking career in Christchurch after university. I did a bit of a double degree in both finance and engineering. So it's always my desire to involve myself in building construction, especially after 6.5 years in banking and a couple of years in leadership roles within finance. It was the right time for me to step out of comfort zone and start a company. Initially, it was just to help myself to build my first home, believe it or not, and I couldn't stop since then.
I like it. So obviously the first build went pretty well. It was a good house that you built.
It was a little shed though I did, but yeah, no, it was a good home. We started the company with a bit of a spec building model, if that makes sense. Typically you go and buy a piece of land, design, put a house on it and put on the market for sale, and hopefully you can make a buck or two out of it. So that went all well and good for about 3 years, and the market sort of slowed down a little bit. It was time for us to change the model to more of your mum and dad sort of building company, going out there selling building contracts. And we did that for another 2-3 years. Really, really good journeys, and a lot of good people have come along with us over those years.
And Wayne, starting any business is hard. We're familiar in the master builders environment of just how challenging and rewarding, but challenging starting a construction and maintaining construction business can be. On top of that, you've got the overlay of coming to New Zealand as an 18-year-old, building. Can you tell us a bit of your insights and what the journey has been like getting that construction company started, and maybe particularly from, if I could use the word immigrant perspective as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It was hard for me to start a company as an immigrant, as you said, for a couple of reasons. I think first is obviously putting myself through that door to a brand new industry, running your own business. Learning the ways to do business in New Zealand was a learning curve for me. But thankfully, the experiences that I've had from my banking times, that sort of helped me along. The other challenge was being an immigrant. English was my second language. Working with, the general subcontractors market, your builders, your painters, just anybody in this game was quite a bit of challenge for me to get through. But I think, I met a lot of good people in this industry, so that really helped me to establish quickly, and now getting to a level where we have probably about 120, 130 guys that work in for us almost on a full-time basis on our building sites.
Wow. Yeah, it's a big team. Congratulations. That's a really scalable business that you've built there, Wayne. And I see a All Blacks jersey hanging over your shoulder on the wall. Is that still the dream? You're still looking to make the All Blacks?
I wish I could. Yeah, no, it's funny you touched on that. It's a culture, I suppose, that we all have to endorse. New Zealand being a rugby nation, a very proud All Black support country. We as builders are not different to that. A lot of builders are into fishing, into rugby, into sports. I came from a different sports background, but it's something that we all endorse.
And Wayne, what were your sports growing up? What were you into?
A bit of soccer, a bit of basketball here and there. Nothing too serious.
Right. So you're not telling you didn't turn down the NBA contract to come and be a builder?
No. Builders is all very much like a sports game. It's a team effort. Any good builders will be able to resonate with that.
Great analogy. And tell us, Wayne, as a Master Builders member, how have they been able to help you in like the establishment and the growth of your business?
Master Builders is being a member nearly about 10 years. I think reflecting back to our earlier days, we didn't even have a contract to start with. We had to get a lawyer to help with the contract, and now that the Master Builders have got their libraries, they've got a lot of documents you can download from their website. I think the members now are very well supported. I see a lot of newcomers in this industry are using Master Builders for various reasons, contracts, and good stuff that they could draw from Master Builders, support.
Absolutely. And Wayne, you've not only built a business of scale, but you're also a national award winner. You were the National Category Gold Award winner in the Winston Wallboards Residential Project. We'd really love to hear about the award that you won, what led to that, and kind of how did that make you and the team feel once you were able to win that award?
So this Kotuitui Development Stage 2 project was a reasonably small scale project. It was only 18 homes over 2 blocks of terrace townhouses. However, design of the project was rather very complicated. The use of terracotta tiles as a cladding system is something that no builders have done in New Zealand before as a residential application. So it was quite a bit of courage for our guys to go out there and accepted the challenge in the first place to build something that no one has actually done before in residential market. There was quite a bit of team aspiration to deliver something that we would all feel proud in the years to come. And also we had a very supportive consultant team behind us, the architects, the facade engineers, the structural engineers, and just the builders and the chippies on site, all came behind that project and delivered a really successful outcome. One of the highlights for me during that project was that one of my project managers had to work on a special designed flashing on site. He actually almost slept on site, trying to get through that flashing designs for the flashman to come in the next morning and take those details to the factory to make those flashings. So a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of intelligence and a lot of dedication have gone behind that project, and the guys have done a stellar job, and it's just great that the industry has recognised the success of this project. It's looking great, by the way. There's 2 colours, 2 blocks, one in red, another one in the dark charcoal colour building, right by the number 20 motorway. If you ever drive past that area there,
Wayne, tell me, how did your team go about learning to work with the terracotta tiles as a cladding system? Did they figure it out? Were they able to get some training in it? How did that process work?
We procure the terracotta tiles directly from Australia through CSR, and the products got shipped to New Zealand in probably one of the most challenging times in building construction during COVID. So there's a lot of delays, a lot of issues with international shipping. But we used that sort of downtime. We did a small mock-up in New Zealand before the arrival of the big shipment. We got it through our facade engineer, we got it through a lot of the consultants and council inspectors. From that point, we train our builders on site, we train our window installers, a lot of people that are connected to the system from the start to the end of it before the arrival of the big shipment. So very well prepared for full time. So.
And what was the response from your team and those other associated trades that you talked about? Did they like being involved with a new system? Did they like the learning that went along with it? How did they respond?
Yeah, absolutely. The builders really enjoyed the challenge. It was a supported environment. It was a good challenge for them to take on. There was a bit of doubt from subcontractors, but we managed to turn that around and pull it off quite nicely.
Good job. And Wayne, I know sustainability is something that's important to you. I think lots of organisations are talking about this. Some of them maybe talk about it more than they do. What does sustainability mean to you? And in your business, how are you living sustainability?
The number of houses that we build a year, we go through probably about 250 homes a year. So that's a lot of terrace townhouses that we built. And as you can imagine, they will be generating a lot of rubbish. So mindful of the pressure that we put on landfill, we've initiated a site program, what we call Keep New Zealand Green. The program is designed to recycle timber materials on site and picking them out of the rubbish bins and turning them into something that could be reused or could be valuable to other people. What we have done over the years is that we encouraged builders to use offcuts to make little furniture for the care homes for people that are in need of a little stuff like that, instead of throwing them into the bins. And there's a little competition going between builders, of different subcontractors on site. It's going very well. On an average month, we will probably be donating 10 to 15 pieces of little furnitures to people that would appreciate the use of them.
Fantastic. And what's been the best piece of furniture you've seen the team put together?
It's a little bookshelf, I think, with a bit of LED strips, almost something that you could sell on Treme.
That's so cool. And I imagine that makes the team feel like they're connected and they're making a contribution to other parts of society. Must be good for the culture.
Absolutely. It's something that we just often forget when we become too busy,
Understand. And Wayne, I know you're a real advocate for your employees and particularly for bringing young people into your business. What is it that you look for in the people that you're hiring?
We started the company with mainly young people that come through the industry, or we've trained a lot of project managers, QSs, as soon as they finish schools. So this upscaling reason is one of the key motivations why I'm in this business. I came from a different background. I had to train myself, or I had to learn from others. So I know it's very important that we build environments within this business to help young people become better than who they are in the past. So what we believe is that we would recruit by attitude, not by experience. Initially, we couldn't afford experience. Experience is expensive, right? So we would typically train our guys on the journey with us, and then they could move on, when they become really, really good for the next chapter of their career. It's never been happier for me to see these young guys become successful, and we need to endorse that culture. We need to build that culture that our people will come through and keep on learning, and the senior guys will train the new guys like what they have done, what they have been through themselves. This is why we are reasonably successful, is that we have got people that really buy into the culture and stay with us for that culture.
Fantastic. And in a interview situation where you're talking to someone about joining the business, how do you try to test as to whether they'll have the right attitude or not?
It's difficult through just one or two interviews, right? So we put them on tools, we train them on site, give them a bit of opportunity to really show themselves and prove themselves, I suppose. So just really hands-on, I suppose, on site. We typically employ people with no or very little experience. And these other guys tend to go hard and really go out there and prove themselves.
All right. Love it. And Wayne, there might be some people listening to this podcast that firstly are in awe of what you've achieved. And I know you're a very humble guy and you just say, hey, I'm just a normal guy. Which is lovely, but what you have achieved and the business you've built is impressive. What advice would you give to maybe another first-generation immigrant into New Zealand who's going, I'd love to be like Wayne one day. I'd like to start my own business. I'd like to be able to employ and develop more people. What advice would you give them if they were thinking that way?
My best advice is to start early when you have nothing to lose. Get yourself out there. You will make mistakes, but hey, it's more important that you learn from these mistakes and be better at it as you go. For immigrants, I suppose, you need to find a job and work for somebody else first. Do it for a few years and learn the skills, especially communications with a culture awareness, I suppose, and a bit of negotiations. Building construction is a tough industry, and dealing with problems, just really learn that culture through your employment. And then go for it, give it your best and see where you can get.
Yeah, it's great advice, Wayne. And tell me, can you give us maybe some insight, an example of where you observed differences in culture and the style of communication, maybe between China and New Zealand?
I think it's the directness in New Zealand culture, which will set a big difference between here and China. I think on building sites, the Kiwis probably talk a bit more openly and directly, whereas in other cultures, they could tend to take it offline and talk between themselves, whereas on the large commercial site in New Zealand, everyone is copied into, for instance, you write an email and everyone's copied into the email, so I think it's more efficient that way. And you're able to hold people accountable and hold a team, because you can't build a house by yourself, right? So there's a lot of other trades that are involved directly or indirectly in the business. So I really appreciate the openness and the directness of the New Zealand culture and how people communicate on site.
And Wayne, in the business that you've built, there's been lots of success, no doubt some challenge on the way through. As you reflect back on where you've started and what you've achieved, is there something in particularly that stands out that makes you most proud from a personal perspective?
I never thought about that, to be honest. Every day is different. So I'm just very proud to be able to live by the time that we have, in every day that we have. But in terms of achievements, I think it's important for the employers, especially for myself, to see my guys become successful. If they grow themselves out to take on more challenges or bigger challenges, it's just important to see that they continue to use what they've learned at Chancellor and really shine and be proud of that and continue to develop themselves into whoever they want to become in the future. That's something I often talk to my colleagues about. Young guy that spent a year or two with us and now he's doing this, he's doing that and doing it really successfully. Just something that, that we all appreciate and feel immensely proud about.
Fantastic. And Wayne, closing question, where will you be and what will you be doing in 20 years' time?
I don't know. I think 20 years in building construction is actually a long time. So I think we've still got a lot of homes to build in New Zealand. We really want to make sure that our guys are doing the right thing, delivering the quality products, making sure that we, doing our bit to solve the housing crisis in Auckland. Yeah, so I suppose just keep doing what we're doing well, and hopefully help a few guys along the way on the journey with us. That's my immediate goal at the moment. But in the future, I think from my background as a first generation immigrant in building construction, I think if we could share my learnings and be useful to the future comers of my similar culture background is something that I like to do.
Fantastic. Well, this is a very good first step, Wayne, in sharing out this podcast, giving people insight into your journey. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. Congratulations on your achievements to date, but most importantly, I think the attitude you have shines through really clearly, that you're there to not just do personal success, but even more so you think about the success of others and creating good community and good outcome for other people. So we salute you for that, Wayne. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.